Welcome back to another episode of BD Radio. In this episode, we are talking about the top 10 nutrition mistakes that we ourselves, me in particular, have made in the past, as well as what we've noticed with clients in our time, I guess, working with them in this industry. That was basically a really mouthful way to say in our time working as trainers. But what we've noticed is trends and how we address them, I guess. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much.
Do you want to start with number one? I know you're very passionate about this. These are in no particular order as well.
Yeah, no particular order, our list of 10. But we do want to start by saying that the whole idea, so the purpose of this podcast is to help you identify, am I doing some of these things? Do I do that? And ways to help you change that rather than to make you feel bad. It's I do that. Oh, I'm terrible.
It's not like you're an idiot if you do this.
Yeah, very common.
I will let you know all the ones that I've actually done. And just looking at our list, it's pretty much 9 out of 10. Possibly 10 out of 10. And
also the influences that make us behave this way. So all the factors. So you've got marketing, social media, all that comes into play when we're talking about all of this, which you'll be able to see.
Yep, absolutely.
So number 1 on our list is diet foods.
When we say diet foods, you mean
99% fat-free.
That sort of stuff, but also having them make up a significant portion of your regular intake.
Yeah.
Diet foods, Dan, tell me why they're bad.
Well, generally, I just used an example of 99% fat-free.
Yeah.
It is a big marketing tool, obviously, because what they're saying is correct. It is 99% fat-free. However, people are very naive, or they just don't understand, or they haven't looked at the back of the packet.
That's the big one. What's replacing it?
What's actually in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... yeah, we all want a sweet every now and then, and a diet option, sure, is great for someone that's looking to lose weight, or is a diabetic or something like that.
Yeah. An example of it being a reasonable option is if, we hear these stories about people who drink upwards of 2 litres of soft drink a day.
Yep.
If you swap to diet, then that's progression.
Absolutely.
So, they're not completely useless. What we're more talking about is light cheese, light milk. I think in particular the dairy options, especially because when we think of, cheese, milk, yogurt, so much of the benefits of dairy is actually in the fats.
Yes.
So you take away the benefits for basically nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And we use soft drink as the example. So we all know there are no benefits to the soft drink other than pleasing the person.
Mentally, basically, the benefits, yeah.
So that doesn't matter. So whereas if you're looking, more at your dairy products, there is an actual change in the nutritional value. Yeah.
So I think sometimes people put a lot of diet foods into their nutrition and it's mentally justifies the decision rather than actually... is addressing the root cause.
Yeah, exactly. It's if you eat 100% processed diet, that is diet products, let's just say, so you're looking to get a low calorie intake for the day.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily look very good or very healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Typically, the more processed things are, the worse they are for you. So it's basically another process that a food has gone through before it hits, your plate, and it sort of makes it a little bit worse.
Yeah.
In general, of course,
generally
speaking. Number 2, and this sort of ties into number 1 as well. So number 2 is focusing on quantity before quality. So what we mean by that is not actually changing what foods you're eating or looking to adjust those, but rather just focusing on how much of what you normally have you are eating.
Yeah.
So
it's can I have a Happy Meal instead of a Big Mac meal? That's the kind of decisions.
Yeah. So whereas maybe it'd be more optimal and certainly better long term to make the move away from fast food.
Yeah.
So again,
A homemade burger.
yeah, it's not like this doesn't work. It's just that in our experience, it's not the best way to achieve like a really long-lasting, sustainable change.
Yes.
Because if you're just restricting, like you're basically changing none of the like habits or mentality or like feelings and emotions around food that you had before.
Yeah, and everyone I've spoken to that has changed the quality of their food has come back and said, oh, I feel so good. I didn't realise.
That was going to be my next point. Like, it's less about the physical results. It's
Yeah.
how, like, the analogy I always use is getting the new bike for Christmas is like you ride around on your old one and then you get a new one and it's got flash gears and like, you know, the chain stays on. And then
Just
it's
speak
like
to William about gears. He just got a bike with gears and he's loving it.
and it, you know, and you're flying around and it's smooth, you know, or like a new car and you're like, I forgot how, you know, how good a new car is, or, you know, like pumped up tires and all this stuff. So it's one of those ones that it's the hardest to explain to people when they start, but it's the one that makes us happiest when we hear clients that tell us that, basically.
Yeah, and also another point I just said about feeling good, which is someone actually said that to me last week, which made me so happy. But not only that they no longer want the foods they used to crave.
Yeah, they've basically displaced them.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this later on, but it's not like, I think people are like, I need to stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, rather than not drinking alcohol, how about we swap one of your glasses of wine at night to a green tea? So you're just replacing, you know, or how about we swap that, you know, 200 grams of chocolate, which is actually a lot, maybe 100 grams of chocolate after dinner. Why don't we have a bowl of fruit? So it's like, you're still eating, you're just substituting what you're eating, which sort of, again, comes back to the diet foods, really.
Yeah. Number 3, we've got tracking calories, but guessing.
Yeah, so this is a real bugbear of mine. So I've tracked calories like quite a lot in the past, but I'd say that each time I've had like a focused 2-month effort, 3-month effort on it, I've improved the way that I've actually like completed the exercise.
And I can absolutely agree with that.
And, you know, and it's reflected in the results I've gotten, not just like physically, but my performance as well, like in the gym and how I feel. So I think when people track calories, and the reason why we don't necessarily recommend this to everyone is because they tend to put the quantity before the quality, and it also encourages diet food choices.
Yeah.
So we would rather like tracking calories is a good tool, no doubt about it, but only after, in our opinion, only after you've sort of adjusted your food choices and basically
have a little bit more knowledge.
Yeah. Your education around it. So tracking calories but guessing relates to the portion sizes that you're entering. So you've done the calculations and it's like, all right, in order to be in a calorie deficit and lose weight, I need to eat, let's just say 2,000 calories a day. What we see, and it's super common, is firstly, people don't track every day. And that's really important. Like that, they'll track Monday to Friday, not track over the weekend.
So common.
But not track Friday night's dinner and that sort of thing. So
or
like,
alcohol is another one. Oh, I tracked my food, but I didn't put my alcohol in.
Like if you were going to do it, like the best results that you can get is when you put in everything. And beyond that, not just tracking everything like that, I had like, you know, some hummus and crackers, but it wasn't that much. You know, like, I had a slice of cheese, but that's nothing. You know, and it's like, it's little things like that over a week, like that is the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the difference. So when you guess beyond just selective tracking, now we're talking more about portions. So like the ability of people to eyeball what's on their plate and then put it into whatever calorie tracking app that you're using is really poor. And like there are heaps of studies on this.
We couldn't even do it.
They aren't, like we could now, but at the start.
Yeah, but after weighing and measuring your food for how long?
Oh, yeah, months.
Yeah.
Or weeks, really. Months. Oh.
Months all up.
Months all up, but yeah, you get a pretty good idea of it after a couple of weeks. But like you would be staggered, and this is especially prevalent in the people who are like, oh, I don't eat that much. You would be shocked at how much you actually eat if you went to everything. Yeah. So that's where I think it can be a really good exercise, is just for heightened awareness and education about what's actually in food and how much food you actually need to eat.
I was about to say, I think it's a great education tool if you do it correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But where people go wrong so often is, I think that's 100 grams. I'm like, actually, Karen, it's 250. Yeah. You know, like it's so much more than you think.
Yeah, absolutely. And then going up, when people check come dinner time, how much do I have for the rest of the day? There hasn't been a mental shift in the way people address food.
Yeah.
So we're looking at changing behaviours to make it sustainable long term, whereas it kind of encourages some people to hold on to those bad habits.
Yeah, or like a really intense effort and then, back off the wagon.
Yeah.
After 8 weeks, or, some gym that will remain unnamed, 8-week challenges and stuff,
Yeah. Quick weight loss in short amount of time.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Is it sustainable? No.
No. Yes. And that sort of comes back to like, we're really strong on, don't show me your 6-week transformation, but how about your 6-year transformation? Let's make it lasting.
Yeah.
So like all the decisions that we make and all the habits and behaviors that we try and impress upon our clients, they're all based with longevity in mind. All right, so tracking calories, but guessing. Number 4, Danielle is passionate about this one. So
so passionate.
I'll let you take it away.
Lack of micronutrients. So micronutrients are vitamins and minerals, which we need obviously to stay nice and healthy. People often have a really, really strong focus on macronutrients, which are also
important,
super important. But what we don't understand is that those micronutrients are vital to our health and well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And quite often you see people that yo-yo diet a lot and don't have a very healthy, sustainable diet tend to get sick a lot, which then makes it harder for them to stay in a routine training-wise as well. So it's a very, very, it's a vicious circle, really.
Yeah.
So having a great time, losing weight, really restricting your diet, sick, okay, 2 weeks off, no training. I've just been getting Uber Eats because I live alone. I didn't have anyone to cook for me. I've gained 3 kilos. So I'm going to be really good once I'm well again. I'm going to go really hard at it for another 2 weeks.
It just basically sort of that yo-yo cycle just continues and continues.
Yeah.
I read a quote on Instagram the other day and sent it to you, and it basically says macros are for fueling, micros are for healing. So like all cell damage, immune system, all that sort of stuff, macros super important.
Macros are so important. That's something we don't talk about a lot. So you do see a lot of macro stuff like on social media, on Facebook, and you don't see much stuff about micronutrients. It's
I think it's because
not addressed.
If you can improve your food quality, naturally you improve your micronutrient intake. If you can improve your macronutrient partitioning, so eating more protein, healthier carbs, fats, that also helps you improve your micronutrient intake. But with the lack of micros as well, so points 1, 2 and 3 are basically all they never address this. So that would be too many diet foods, quantity, tracking calories, but having a guess, and that cycle. In order to really up these, you need to be eating more whole foods.
Whole foods absolutely comes back to that,
and a variety as well.
Yeah, exactly. As much variety as you can, because in the world of macros, it really our food naturally complements, so different micronutrients complement other micronutrients. So if you are eating a certain vegetable, let's just say, it might contain a vitamin and a mineral that complement one another, that just happens naturally.
Yes,
and you don't need to think about it. So people often ask
absorption.
us, so that helps you absorb it. It doesn't just matter what's going into your body, it matters how our body is using it. So people often ask me about multivitamins.
I was going to say, I was literally just about to bring this up.
Very common question we get asked. Do they have a place?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Are they better than nothing? Like, similar to the Coke versus
Diet.
The Diet Coke. Like, yes, it's better than nothing, but ideally we don't need it. So it's a step, but like if you think having a multivitamin every morning is going to solve, your micronutrient problem, then you're sorely mistaken.
Absolutely.
And you need to eat some veggies.
Yeah, definitely. So it is a fine art, and nature has handled it for us. However, as humans, we've evolved to want a quick fix. So people are happy to take a multivitamin, but they're not happy to eat a variety of fruit and vegetables.
We're in the age of convenience.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, healthy nutrition is not very convenient.
Yeah.
So it's just something that we might need to put a little bit more time into to really get the best rewards possible.
Oh, that made me feel better getting that up.
Number 5, a bugbear of mine for sure. Putting the cart before the horse. So it's a saying that clients of ours have probably heard me crap on about a lot, but it basically means like you're worrying about factors of nutrition that you don't need to yet. Like it shouldn't be on your radar. So if you think about your body as a house, it's basically worrying about what couch you're going to get before the foundation and the walls are even up yet. Like it's just not a concern.
Yep.
Now I understand that you maybe want to plan, and have
And
the
that's
couch in
okay.
mind, and that's okay. But if you install it on a little bit of dirt, it's not going to do very well.
No. So let's give an example in terms of nutrition.
Okay, here's an example. Do I need to have a protein shake after I train?
Yeah. Perfect example.
Yeah, and it's like, sure, but I'll need a little bit more context, and it probably doesn't matter if you're going to have KFC for lunch and Macca's for tea. So that would be like worrying about something that is just going to be inconsequential when the rest of your diet is not very good. So will it work for someone else? Yeah, absolutely. If they're
a bodybuilder, someone that's...
Yeah, 100%. But they've got the other part down pat.
Yeah.
So that's what we mean. Or what's another one?
Fruit is a big one for me. When people come... And,
yeah.
People often talk about losing weight quite early in their journey.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, should I be eating fruit? And I'm like, you've got 20 kilos to lose. I don't think fruit is your biggest obstacle.
And that also, like, that point, we'll bring that up as we come to another point, but that can be... when we talk about, like the social influences and everything, like you see one thing on Instagram or a blog or a fruit one is especially prevalent in like the ketogenic society. So people like eat fat to lose fat. And I'm like, oh, sort of, but not really. So it's questions like that are going to have a minor impact, but they're not going to make that much of a difference unless we can really nail everything else.
So first and foremost, the first thing everybody wants to aim for is a less processed diet.
Yeah, whole foods.
If we're talking about sustainable, that is the first thing you want to look at.
Yeah. Fills you up, like higher food satiety, which means keeps you full, good levels of protein, good levels of micronutrients, and then it's super easy to adjust quantities if you want to after you've already nailed that stuff.
Yeah.
So always quality before quantity. All right, number 6, a question we get asked a lot. Do you guys do meal plans? So meal plans. Firstly, no, we don't do meal plans. Secondly, they don't work. And thirdly, we will never do meal plans. But meal plans don't work because they do not allow for what you enjoy, what your family enjoys,
there are so many factors.
Your culture, your routine. So X's and O's, tick the box, do meal plans work? Yes. Do they work for a long time? No. So
They could help cement some good behaviors.
yeah, like cooking more.
Yeah.
So, I guess what would be like a meal plan, and I'll just did the inverted commas with my hand, but something like Hello Fresh or whatever. We're like they actually like it's sort of a meal plan in the way they deliver the meals, but you still have to cook it, and you're still doing that stuff that is important, like sustainably, to make time to cook and make sure it's quality ingredients. But like a meal plan of like Monday morning I have scrambled eggs with a little bit of salmon, and then Tuesday morning I have oats. Like just spewing out a plan like that, and this meal plan's for 1,800 calories, and this meal plan's for 2,200 calories, and which one are you? If you're a girl, you're on this one. If you're a guy, you're on that one. Like that just does not work.
No. And also, do you wake up every day? Like I don't have the same breakfast every day. I don't feel like the same breakfast every day.
I do, but I'm a psycho. So, but
like
yes.
It's what you do should be easy and enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to think about eating healthy every day.
Yeah.
We choose from a variety of healthy choices every day.
Yes. So this meal plan stuff, it's similar when people say, oh, what's the best diet? And it's like, you already have a diet. You just need to optimize it a little bit. So without even realizing, guys, your nutrition is already fairly regimented. Like there are few clients who we've ever worked with who are genuinely random all the time. Like if we think about ourselves, Sunday we have roast. Monday lunchtime we have roast leftovers. Monday Monday night we'll probably have pasta. Without even realizing, Thursday night we have non-schnitzel. Wednesday night we have something that William doesn't like. Tuesday nights we have meat and veg. Like you already have a bit of a meal plan there.
Yeah.
You maybe just need to adjust the ingredients a little bit, and there's your meal plan done. But I think lots of the time people who want a meal plan, they just want it done for them.
Yeah.
And that's more the psychological aspect of progress that we talk about a lot, is like you really have to just give it a little bit more time and spend a little bit more time on assessing what you're currently doing, and then maybe getting some advice on what you need to adjust, rather than just here's a PDF with a bunch of smoothie bowls and me in a bikini.
Yeah.
On the side, just to keep you motivated.
Oh, that would look really good.
It'd probably make people not want to eat, which would probably do just as well.
Oh, the next one's a good one. Restricting over displacing.
Yeah. So when I say that I've done all of these in the past, this is probably the biggest one that I've done, I reckon.
I would agree.
So what restricting over displacing means? So a super easy example would be like, oh, all right, rather than I'm just going to not have ice cream, I'm just going to cut it out. And then I lose, however much of my intake, and there's my deficit right there. Rather than maybe displacing would be, okay, rather than a tub of Ben & Jerry's, I'm going to get a tub of Halo Top, or I'm going to have some fruit. Or, okay, rather than tasty cheese, I'm going to have mozzarella because it's higher in protein, a little bit less energy, perfect. So I don't have that restriction mindset. I'm just making a couple of substitutes that are easier to implement. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And that's how I get my result. Mentally, it's a lot easier. So another example might be like, oh, I really want a chocolate bar. And it's like, okay, well, if I still really want one after I've had an apple, then I'll have one.
Yeah.
But like you've pushed it back, and then you have the filling whole food like before it, and that fills up that hole really.
Yeah. That's one thing I've been big on, especially with our children. So like you always have to eat your food first. Mm-hmm. Like there is always a quality meal, some fruit before we even talk about having a treat after dinner. Mm-hmm. So William always knows after dinner he'll ask for whatever fruit he likes, and then some nights he may ask for something and we'll say yes.
Yeah.
And then some nights he wouldn't even ask because guess what? He doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't feel like he's missing out.
Well, I
Same
think
as like when you go to a party.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's all this party food, but there's also a fruit platter and,
everyone has the
It's like, well, have
fruit
the
last.
fruit first.
Yeah.
And then you're less likely to overindulge in the other stuff, in the highly processed, refined stuff.
Oh, here's another example. Like if we're going out somewhere and it starts at 7 o'clock, we often have tea before.
Yes, always.
Like we'll eat our dinner at 5 and then like be less tempted by party pies. Like whatever's there. So it's like it's just filling up on the good stuff and then being less tempted by the bad stuff. Really, and that's all displacing is, rather than restricting.
Yeah, and it keeps you in that positive mindset, and that's just your new norm, which is again sustainable.
Yep.
Number 8. Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, good. Relying on willpower. So this ties into number 7, but it's basically just like it's making zero adjustment and just trying to like gut your way through it. So, and this sort of comes to like, this would be really hard, like if I didn't change my diet at all and I was just focused on quantity.
Yep.
My environment was the same. Like I hadn't changed anything. I hadn't got junk food out of the house. Every time I opened the pantry, there was a half-open pack of Skittles just staring me in the face. Like, pretty hard not to reach out and grab a couple, especially when you're hungry.
Yeah.
So, like, willpower is a finite resource. It runs out quickly, and it runs out in under a week.
Yeah.
So, if people want an example, everyone has done this before. Like, I have... You may not have. You probably haven't, the golden child over here, but Monday I am starting this, like I'm going to be good, and I have an acai bowl Monday morning, woohoo, Monday lunchtime, I eat spinach and ice cubes, like I'm on fire today. I go to the gym, I'm like train like a champion. Mm-hmm. Monday night, I'm like chicken breast, brown rice, wake up Tuesday, I'm like, I'm not shredded yet. I'm like, that's a bit of a shame. Okay, but I'll have a smoothie and then I'll go to the gym. And then by Wednesday, it's like, I'm ready to eat my arm. And if I walk past a bakery, like my willpower is zero. Like I haven't adjusted my habits at all. Like I've gone so hard that now I'm just in a completely depleted state. And like,
we'll reach for anything.
You can't live there.
Yeah.
And like just trying to be tough and trying to, like that, there's a special few people who can do that.
Yeah.
So
rather than like people see food as the enemy, like, no. I can't eat that much. And then that's what leads to all these bad decisions. Like the amount of people that I cannot believe when I fill up with petrol, the amount of people that pay a premium for like a chocolate bar. Yeah, like I would never pay that much for a chocolate in my life. Like go to the supermarket, it's $1.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people that
sidetracked.
Like
yeah.
go, a Big M, like a chocolate bar. Everyone in front of me that filled up got something else in the shop, and I was just like, oh my god, I will never do that. Like I never ever do that.
I used to, but I don't anymore. But it's like, it's that like addressing that behavior would be far more beneficial long term than just being like, okay, I'm just gonna grit it out.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't last. Like it doesn't address what you've struggled with previously to get yourself into this point. As well as like a good program executed well requires next to nil willpower.
Yeah.
Like so many of our guys are like
because the willpower is to start.
Yeah, and it's also like, I can't believe how much I'm eating. Yeah. It's like, because you're filling up on vegetables and, like, there's so many more benefits that come with it that you're like, I feel fantastic. I'm sleeping better. Now, like, I don't want to go back to what I was because, like, you've seen the light.
Yeah.
So, breaking out of that, nourishing your body rather than restricting and trying to break it down is such a better route to go.
Yeah, I often say to people, we're so good at being mean to ourselves. Like if we were just a little bit kinder. Like why do you need the willpower? Like I can do it. Like I don't need to eat. I don't like we do need to eat.
This time, like this time I'm going to break through. Yeah. Like absolutely.
Give yourself the good stuff. Give yourself the best chance rather than setting yourself up to fail.
And not relying on like intuitive eating. Like, I know what I need. I'm like you might, but it might be time to, maybe actually get some concrete advice on that rather than just sort of heading down the same path that you've been down before.
Yeah. Number 9. Oh,
this
goody.
This takes me back to my teenage years. But
this does actually, on younger people, this is huge. Taking advice.
Forget about younger people.
I know, true. It's everyone. I know.
Taking advice from celebrities.
Woo, Britney Spears.
Yeah, her Instagram is fantastic. And for anyone out there, if you want some workout inspo, head to Britney Spears'
Honestly.
Instagram. But this is like, I'm not one to tell people to stay in their lane because, you're allowed to have hobbies apart from playing Wolverine. That's cool. Hugh Jackman, if he likes to paint, sure, tell people you like to paint. But it is particularly dangerous and irresponsible, in my opinion, when you speak about stuff with the influence that you have with absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Yep.
And this would be like, all right, here's an example. This would be like if I ran a finance seminar. And I was like...
Guys,
and this is like,
do not attend.
Yeah, and this is like, I'm going to, I won the lotto and I now have millions of dollars. And guys, join my webinar and I tell you, how to win the lotto. It's like, what are you talking about? Firstly, if you're a Hollywood actor, actress, you're more than likely a genetic specimen. They're at the higher end of, humans in regards to physical appearance. And they typically have a
lot
body
of money
shape.
to... No, that's not true. They have a lot of money to invest in certain procedures.
Yes, that too.
And certain professionals. So they've all got a chef, a personal trainer, may have had a little bit of work done.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't like one lump or bump.
Yeah. So, there's a difference between them being, motivational. Like, The Rock. The Rock's out there, he's like, I'm in the gym, what do you say, clanging and banging. I'm like, The Rock is the man. But he never says, hey, guys, eat this.
This is my program.
Yeah, guys, do this exercise. He's always out, it's...
He's just doing his thing.
Yeah, it's purely surface motivation.
Yeah.
The Rock, sorry if you're listening. This is not about you. You're welcome to come on the podcast anytime. But when, J-Lo... Oh my God.
That was a bad one.
She did that stupid Instagram challenge that was guys, 10-day no carb challenge. I'm like, for
not
what?
Good.
Firstly, you couldn't tell me, you couldn't scientifically tell me that carbs make people gain weight. It is false.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, when all of a sudden, how many followers has she got? Millions.
Oh.
And, looks amazing. So people therefore in their mind already go, must know what she's talking about. Yeah. Or the amount of Google searches where it's after the Baywatch movie came out with The Rock and Zac Efron, the amount of articles on Zac Efron's transformation and stuff, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I trained really hard, ate well, and maybe made an appointment or two with The Rock's doctor.
Yeah.
But no one says that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because my respect for him wouldn't go it wouldn't be higher or lower because of that. It's just a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So don't take advice from celebrities basically because maybe they're trying to sell a product, maybe they're or they basically just have no idea. You know what? I don't explain it anymore. Don't take advice from celebrities. Instead, follow the celebrities as trainer and take advice from them because they might have a clue.
I was about to say, invest in your own journey.
Yeah.
Everyone is on, if anything, we talk about it all the time. Everyone's journey is so unique.
Yeah.
Everyone's nutrition is so unique.
Yeah.
Hence no meal plans.
Yeah.
It's just, it makes no sense. You are not them, so do not do what they do.
You do not have a personal chef. You do not have a personal trainer 5 times a week.
Yeah.
You do not have millions of dollars to, if someone said, hey, Dan, Hugh Jackman's obviously too old to play Wolverine now. We're going to pay you $20 million and you're going to be in the next X-Men. You bet. I'll rely on willpower. And, I'll go so hard. Is so different from us, a family of 4 running it. It's just, there's It's
Different
too
worlds,
far
yeah.
apart. It's too far apart for it to have any relevance to your journey.
Yeah.
Use them as motivation and that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Our final one for the day, number 10.
Personal favourite.
It is, because I feel like, if anything, this is the one where, like, I take the pedal off as well. So, weekend binging. I wouldn't say I binge, but I take the pedal off.
You certainly loosen the reins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, very common.
So a weekend binge, and I guess to dial it in even more, this would be like a cheat day.
Yeah.
And please, if you're out there and you're having cheat days, stop and message us and we'll tell you why. But when people are like, oh, can I undo all my progress in a cheat day? I'm like, forget about a cheat day. You can undo your progress in a meal.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of like, you can kind of get into that mindset of almost like relieving yourself of all responsibility
Yes.
because you've told yourself that it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've done so well.
Yeah.
And
I've done so well
yeah.
this week. I can eat whatever I want.
And this is that like restrict, binge cycle that lots of people are in. And if you feel like you are in this, like there is nothing wrong with that. Like, it is so common, but it's also super easy to break. And it's basically like, I think what broke it for me personally was like, you know it's wrong, but you need someone to tell you it's wrong. Like, you can't decide for yourself. Like, it can take a third party to be like, that makes no sense. And like, break it down like this. If you're trying to save up money for a trip to Europe, which will be allowed in 2028, it's like, if you're like, yes, I need to save $200 a week for 6 months and then I'll have enough to organize the flights, blah, blah, blah. But every week you're like, oh, $200, I saved it. That is so good. And then went to the Nike factory and bought a new pair of runners for $200.
Or $220.
Or $220. Yeah, well,
$20 out of
that
pocket.
can actually, that can happen as well. Like, what have you basically done? You've basically just wiped away all of your good work, and that 6 days is counted for nothing. So, well, like, not counted for nothing, but it's definitely counted for nothing if your goal is fat loss.
Yeah.
So, like, if we're trying to tighten the screws a bit and, you know, like, whatever, summer's coming and it's like, yep, let's be a bit healthier for whatever reason. Like, the weekends are typically where we tighten up the most because our weeks are already good. So we're basically just trying to make our Saturday look like a Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
You shouldn't be able to tell what day of the week it is.
Ideally, but yeah. Like, you can relax a bit on the weekends. There's no problem with that.
Day.
You just can't go overboard.
Yeah.
Like, have a pizza, cool, but don't have...
3.
Yeah, that, but also, you know, like a heap of wine and cheese beforehand and then ice cream afterwards. Like, that's when you'll be undoing it. But you can have a pizza and then have your watermelon and then continue on your merry way.
Yeah.
Like, it really... So much of this stuff just comes down to the context of your situation as well. So...
Definitely. What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter.
As we mentioned at the start, like, I'm just looking through the list now and I'm like, diet foods tick, quantity tick, tracking but guessing tick, lack of macros, still working on it, cart before the horse tick. I've never done a meal plan. That's the one I haven't done. Restricting over displacing tick, relying on willpower, 5 ticks. Taking advice from celebrity. Oh, I did Mark Wahlberg's arm routine for years.
Did you?
Still don't look like Mark Wahlberg.
Oh.
Weekend binging ticks. So I've done 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
So this isn't to, you know, flatten you guys out or anything, but is also just to let you know that if you are frustrated by the lack of progress that you might be seeing, these are some of the reasons that could potentially be why.
Yeah, exactly.
And that we have been through them before and we know how to change them.
Yeah.
Or help you change them.
Yeah.
So that's our 10.
This was one of my favourites, guys.
There we go.
Hope you made it to the end.
Next week, I think we're doing our top 10 training mistakes. So that'll be good as well because, again, also made all of those. All right. Well, hope everyone's enjoying ISO 2.0. It's actually a nice day today, so we might get out and go for a walk.
Yes.
All right. If anyone needs anything, always just reach out. We're always here. Don't know if you've heard, we're not very busy at the moment. We'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.